Live. And we are. All right. Awesome. We are live right now. Tarek, I'm live here. So guys, I'm Jeff Goolsby. You know this already with the Goolsby Group at Keller Williams. And today I have Tarek Kamal of Credit Connectors, owner of Credit Connectors, who's going to be basically educating me on a ton of questions that I have in regards to how can either, I fix my credit, how can I maintain good credit, what do I do to position myself for success financially as we kind of go through some crazy times. And Tarek, I want to have some questions for you, but I just wanted to kind of introduce you a little bit further. So the reason why this call is super important to me is, you guys, this is a guy that I've known and trusted since like first grade. So so I have complete faith and confidence that he's here to help and serve our community. And I'm pumped, man, that I got you on here. So thank you for being here, man.
Man, it's definitely a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know if you noticed or if you watch any of the other tribe calls, right? But I always like to kick it off with a little jolt of positivity and to share some good news. I wanted to share this. It's a video I found recently on Facebook. Super cool. This is Roseville City School District, which I know, you and I, we went through Dry Creek, right? But Roseville City, I think there's a lot of teachers doing some really cool stuff, but this is from Chilton Middle School. I think this was Chilton Middle School. Let me check it out and see what we got here. Okay. So this is a music teacher that did this awesome video here. Let's see. Can you guys see this?
Yeah. I love it. That's awesome.
Right. So I won't do the whole, I won't do the whole clip, but basically Roseville City School District coming through with some good humor and a way to break it up a little bit, entertain the kids, and quite frankly, me.
You got it.
Yeah, now's the time, right?
Yep.
So, all right, so now we got that out of the way. You guys, if you're watching this live, drop the questions in the comments. If you're on Facebook, I've got about 12 questions that have either from myself, from people at the database that want to ask these questions. But if you're live right now and watching this, drop questions. If you're watching this later, because it's recorded, drop questions. I'll forward them to Tarek. He might even be able to jump in here and answer some for you. But here we go. So tell me a little bit. Who are you? Who is Credit Connectors? Like, tell us a little bit about your business.
So my name is Tarek. You know me as Tarek. Most of my clients know me as Rick. It's just a little bit easier, especially when you're dealing with credit. Sometimes it's easier to remember a name. So Rick, the credit coach. I'm one of the owners of Credit Connectors. So we are a licensed, bonded, registered credit repair company, and we help clients that have challenged credit, clients that need to establish credit, and we also work with your loan officers, your realtors, to create a custom package to be able to make sure that we help you through the credit process, so there's no falling or steps throughout the way.
Okay. Yep. And so what types of clients do you mostly work with?
You know what I found, to be unique, you think when you fix credit, the majority of clients are just real estate, right? But the perfect client is anyone that has challenged credit. If there is something inaccurate on your credit report, it could be something small. You can have a great credit score. However, there's something on it that is just not accurate. You're the perfect client for us. Also, another client that is perfect are clients that don't have credit, that have bad credit, that don't have credit. We offer secured credit cards that are designed to help you build your credit. So what's unique about it, like where you go to Bank of America or you go to the banks to get a secured credit cards, not always will you get approved. What's nice about ours, they are a soft credit pool, and they are designed to help you build credit. So that's what's also you're going to find unique about us, that our products and our services are designed to help a client grow and also fix items that are inaccurate.
Cool. Okay. So that's interesting. So basically, your ideal client might not necessarily be a bad credit. They could be a good credit or a no credit.
Yep.
They want to basically improve it, make your score better.
Yep.
Cool. How has your and I have definitely more questions like about that and about your business, but I'm curious. And a lot of the people I've talked to in these calls are business owners, leaders in the community, and I'm asking them this question: is like, how have things changed for you in light of what's happening? Right now. This April 16th, we're in the middle of COVID-19 quarantine still. So, like, how has your business changed at all?
Naturally, we've had a few clients that have had to temporarily hold or pause their service just because of their job placement or where they're at. However, overall, I'd say that we've actually been extremely busy. We've been extremely busy on two fronts. One, just from an educational standpoint, people are giving us a call asking us, what do we do? How do we do it? And then you also have people that have time to be able to finally sit at home. And that's also what's important. If you have time to sit at home, take advantage of reviewing your credit report. And so we've had clients that have finally had time to breathe and review what's inaccurate in their credit report and really to go from there. So what's happening in the news? How can this affect my credit score? I'm not making my payment right now. Those kinds of stuff. That's really affected our business, more of an educational standpoint.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I'd imagine. Yeah, you guys must be probably even busier in times of sort of financial uncertainty and
yeah.
Anything? Do you have anything that you want to point out or say before I kick off into some questions?
I would. I'd say, if there's items that are inaccurate in your credit report, because I really would love to touch on the credit repair experience. There are a lot of misunderstandings about credit repair. There are a lot of people out there that will promise to get items removed off your credit report. The reality is, if the company is not licensed, they're not bonded, or they're not registered, don't do business with them, right? That's the first thing to point out. And secondly, you can challenge your own items on your own. However, the advantage that you have going with a credit repair company are several things. One, they know the law, where they should, right? The second thing is there could be something on your credit report where you just simply go on Credit Karma and click, just to dispute, and you can actually be hurting your credit. And another thing to take advantage of is, the reality is, if you have a 9-to-5 job, you have kids, you have a life, you don't have to sit there and do it. That's the beauty of going to a credit repair company or, trained professionals. So yes, you do have the ability to do on your own. We're not magicians. But what we are is we're professionals that know what we do. So I like to say that for the ones that have those concerns about, is credit repair right, or what should I do?
Yeah. Because in theory, you can, like you said, you're not a magician. Like in theory, you could do some of these things on your own, but are you doing it well and in an appropriate amount of time and all that?
Did you delete an old card? Did you delete a card that's been around for 10 years that you had that you should have done? You actually just click, challenge. And that 10-year card just dropped your score 60, 70 points because you didn't realize that was a valuable credit history that you just got rid of. Yeah. So that kind of stuff.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, totally fair. And, I'm always of the opinion that you ask, I have a CPA, I have a bookkeeper, I have a banker that I trust, I have professionals that I go to, because time is, I always have, even when I didn't have, even when I had more time than money, I still, leaned on other people's advice. So
smart.
So, all right, I have some questions. These are a compilation of my own questions, and then some that I've received from people, talking to them, kind of leading up to this Q&A with you. So,
Okay.
This one is mine. What are some threats that consumers might be facing right now in regards to their credit? Like, what should I be aware of or like kind of be on the lookout for that? So just to protect what I've already got, I guess.
I think that's a great question. I think one of the, I think specifically with the whole COVID-19 epidemic and what's going on in your credit and the experience, I think there's a few things that you need to take into consideration. Is right now, the first thing, as I mentioned before, the first thing you should look at is your credit report, right? Make sure if there's anything that's inaccurately reported on your credit report, and to go ahead and challenge them from there. And items that you're looking at, are all the balances correct? Do you have accounts that are not listed as yours? Do you have stuff like that? Another thing to keep into consideration, if you're in a situation where you're job loss, or whatever the case may be, you need to call your credit card companies, your lender. You need to call whoever you need to call and find out if they have an option if you are impacted by the COVID-19, because that can have an impact on your credit, but making sure that they are aware and they're notified. I know there are some lenders out there that will let you skip a payment, right? That will not hurt your credit. So I say, well, you're very stressed out right now, as anyone is, right? Don't slip up on this. That's important.
So, excuse me. I'm healthy. Sorry, I had a little cough. There's a little something in my throat.
Social distancing. It's all good.
So that's a good point, because there's a lot of talk right now about like mortgage forbearance. I think there's a general feel that like, oh, I can probably skip. They're gonna understand, right? The creditors are gonna understand because it's COVID-19. I'm furloughed, or I'm out of work, or whatever. Like everybody is, but that's not the case. Like your credit doesn't care what's happening necessarily right now, unless you get specific permission from creditors, right?
Exactly. So, for example, making sure that if you do have a loan, and this is stuff that can keep in consideration. Every loan company, every card company is different, and they all have different terms. So, where you talk to your buddy, their loan company may offer one thing, your loan company may offer something different. And I think what you had touched on was about the forbearance is important. This doesn't mean you don't have to pay your mortgage payment or have to pay your bills. It just means they're giving you time. It's not going to hurt your credit. It's not going to count as a negative. It's not going to negatively impact your credit. But either way, you're going to have to pay it. So either pay it now, or you pay it whenever they give you your respective time. In some cases, some people are being told you have up to 6 months, and you don't want to be that person that 6 months later you're paying 6 months worth of mortgages at once, and then your credit goes down.
Yeah. Cool. So speaking of that, speaking of like not being able to make payments, well, I guess you actually touched on this. My next question was, what should people do or prepare for if they're unable to make their payments on some accounts right now? And I think you actually already just answered that, right? Like you should call your creditors ahead of time and see how they're managing your.
And I think that's, to be very honest, that's also outside of this whole fiasco, what's going on right now. This is a common practice. Don't dip and dodge. Don't hide. Give your card companies a call. Sometimes they'll work with you. Other times they won't. But it's better to try to work with them instead of disappearing or coming in there after the fact. And once you've already had a missed payment or late payment, to try to work out some sort of conversation, because it doesn't really work out too well from there.
Okay. Just being proactive. All right. So if I have either, I guess, bad credit, good credit, no credit, how long does it take to actually build it back up, like build my credit score?
A million years. No, I'm kidding. Right. So the reality is your credit could be built within the 30 days, right? But let me explain what that means, right? So there's a few factors that come into play. Your credit is comprised of different factors. Your payment history, your capacity, what types of credit cards you have available, how long have you had your credit cards, how many inquiries do you submit, right? So for one individual that has currently collections on their credit report, they have no available credit. they get a secured credit card. Their score can jump up 100 points once it updates in their credit report within the 30 days. Another individual can make their minimum payments and they won't see a change in their score, or they can pay off a full, a good chunk of that amount and their score can change right then and there too. So it's whenever it gets reported, but I typically say 30 to 60 days.
Okay. Wow, that's actually a lot faster than I thought. I didn't realize it was that quick. And how? Okay, and I guess that was my next question is like, how much of a credit score improvement can someone expect to see when working with you to repair credit?
And that's the $1 million question. So I'm the kind of person, I always give worst case scenarios. Why? Because it's better to set that expectation so you know what you're walking yourself into. So as I said, one person, they might not have a credit score, right? You may have had 4 credit cards. You may have had 6 credit cards in your profile. There's different factors that can come into play. So one person, their score might not get increased. So we had a client, for example, we got 6 collections deleted off their credit report. You would think their credit score went up. Unfortunately, their score maintained the same. And they called and they said, well, why did my scores go the same? Well, it looks like from last month to this month, you maxed out on your credit cards. So there's different factors that fluctuate and go about it. So that's why when we sit down with a client, we have those conversations because every portfolio is different. And also, I think what's also important to point out is working with your, with your realtor, right? This is important. Why? Because we also need to know what time you're going to get in your house. Maybe we won't help you finish the race, but we'll at least get you far enough in the race to be able to get you qualified to get you in your house. And then after the fact, you can come visit us. So there's different factors that can affect you in different statuses and different stages.
Yeah. I'm curious, how many people do you see, like, after they get their house, like, this is going rogue here, I didn't have this written down, but after they get their home, they've been
Quite a
working
few.
with you. What's that?
Quite a few.
That just, they're like, okay, we're good. We got our house. Now we're done.
And unfortunately, and I see that because for them, at the end of the day, their ultimate goal is to get in their house, but that shouldn't be your ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal should be having a great credit score. Why? Because it's not just the house. Because let's talk about your house, right? We want to do home improvements. We want to go to Lowe's. We want to go to Home Depot. We want to go anywhere and get maybe a department store card because now we need to do home improvements. Your credit score is going to have an impact on that. Going to have an impact. So yes, get the house, but you're stuck. How about raising your credit score to get your loan refinanced down the road to provide you a better rate, so you are able to put more money back in your savings account. So there's all these different factors that come into play. So that's one of the things. But again, you can't control someone, right?
Well, right. How much of an impact does owning a home or having a mortgage on your, if you've been consistent with making your mortgage for a year, does that improve your credit score?
It makes a dramatic impact. And there's a few reasons why it makes a dramatic impact, because it touches on several different factors of the credit portfolio. So it touches on the majority of it, right? 35% is your payment history. So if you're making your payments on time, there's that as a factor. Also, another big factor is types of credit available, or your types of credit history. So now that you have a home, you're probably not going to up the home for a year or 2 years, right? You're going to have the home for a longer time period. So that's going to show age of history or age of the account. And also because now you have a mortgage on your credit profile. So the types of credit you have available is available. So, right. So think of it like this: person's 18, person's 19, they're young. They may not be able to buy a house right there. If you can, kudos, right? But your ceiling is only that high. You can only do so much. You can't get past this. But now that you have a home, right, now you have a mortgage, now your ceiling on your house just got a little bit better. Now it's up to you whether to screw up your credit, keep your credit in good status, to whether how high that ceiling is going to get raised. That's the best way to explain it.
Okay. And so how much? All right. So if you already have good credit, right? you have your house, we worked with you, we got everything kind of repaired. I got my house. Now I have a mortgage. It's improved my credit score even more. Let's say I'm at like 750, right? I've got like a pretty good credit score. That gets me like, or let's say I'm at 720. It gets me almost the best interest rate you can get on a home loan. But I know that I'm going to need to refinance. I know I'm going to need a car in the near future. And I want like that awesome interest rate, like basically where the banks are just like, take our money, please.
Leave year one credit, you walk in, you walk out. Yep.
Yeah. How do I go basically from good to great? Like, is that a possible thing?
So I'm going to teach you 2 tricks, right? Well, actually not tricks, they're strategies. So let's go over the first one. The first thing is, if you want to get your credit from good to great, you need to make sure that you keep mind of your credit card balances. So let's talk about your credit card balances. So here's the trick that I always tell clients. When you get your statement at the very end of the month on your credit card statement, it's going to say this is what your minimum payments due for the following month. Just for the sake of conversation, your credit card payment is due on the 20th of the month. On the 19th, you have a zero balance. You don't use your credit card the whole month, but on the 19th, Jeff, you want to go out with your friends to go on a nice little vacation. After everything's all said and done, right now, probably not the best time for the vacation, right? Yeah. Maybe it is. I guess probably good deals on flights. But that being said, they put everything on your credit card, right? And they want to pay, and they'll say, I'll pay you back after. Now, what you didn't know is that your credit card statement due date is due on the 20th. So everyone gave you the money, you went and bought the tickets. So on the 21st, when your statement cycle renews, it's going to show that you have that balance. Or your car goes out and you have to put all your stuff on your transmission on your credit card. So what happens is, for the next 30 days, it's going to show what that credit card balance is. So if you have a $5,000 balance credit card and you put $3,000 on there, it's going to kill your available credit. It's going to show how much you owe versus how much you have available, and it's going to wipe it out. So now when I come by my house with you next month, those are the kind of things that you have to keep in mind. So if you don't plan on using your credit, if you don't have any plan on using it next month, your credit score will go up, it will go down. But if you're in a position where, like, I know I need to use my credit to buy my motorcycle, to buy my car, to whatever the case may be cognizant of when your payment due date is due, because that's the date that's going to reflect for the next 30 days on your credit report. So even if you paid off your credit card on the 21st, it's irrelevant. And the other trick is if you already have amazing credit, do a credit increase. You may not need to use all your available credit, but if you have a balance on one of your credit cards for $5,000 and you have another credit card and the balance on that one is 0, right? That credit card has an available credit of 10, and you have another credit card that has an available credit of 10, but you have a $5,000 balance. Mm-hmm. If you do a line increase, or you go on your credit card online, say do a limit increase, they increase your limit, it's going to drop down how much you have available, or how much you owe versus how much you have available. So sure, you get to come back, and that could raise your score, because again, 30% is that. So those are quick tricks that you can do to increase your credit, and also have that done within that 30 days that we were talking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. That's like a free boost, basically. It's rather than having to pay down your balance, you just get them to increase the amount available.
And don't increase it every day. Again, in some places they don't. Some credit cards, as a reminder, that doesn't count as an inquiry, and other ones that do count as an inquiry. So I'd say this is very, very important to point this out. Anytime you do something like this, if you're in the process of buying a house, don't do it. Work with your loan officer, work with your realtor. Don't make those mistakes. Work with Jeff. Jeff's going to be able to take care of you, right? We want to do it the right way. We don't want you to just have apply for it to apply for it.
Okay. So we're into about almost 25 minutes now. I have one more major question, and that is, what are some resources that you would recommend looking into if people are thinking about, like, how do I repair my credit? How do I improve it? Like, where do they start, other than just like this stream, which is totally valuable? Like, thank you so much. But like, and I'm going to share this. I'm going to keep this on our page. But like, where can people go in order to,
I mean, I'm a little biased, right? I'm a little biased. So you can visit creditconnectors.com, right? You can visit our website, creditconnectors.com. And while you're on our site, you're going to see credit tips, credit education stuff. One of the cool things that we actually offer for our clients or somebody that wants our service, wants our service, is we actually give them tons of budget tools, resources, guides. We give them maybe, I think, hundreds of pages of resources if you're a client of ours. Or in general, to be honest, if you just need those resources, reach out to us at Credit Connectors, and we can just provide you some information just to be able to help you.
Got it. So you guys already have. Shame on me. I haven't really totally gone through all of your website yet, but you guys have a ton of free stuff just available right now that they could download.
We have a ton of free stuff, and you reach out to us if you're like, hey, and we even have stuff for people that are over 60. How do I build my credit if I'm over 60? And we can provide you all the educational stuff from start to finish. Is it the right time to file bankruptcy? Should I file bankruptcy? All of those kinds of stuff that people want to know, we can help you with that.
Okay. That's awesome, man. And so I guess I do have a couple more questions. How much does this like cost? I mean, I'm sure it varies, right? Or is it just one flat fee or what?
No, so we charge $299, and then we charge $99 a month. What the $299 includes, that includes your first round of letters. That includes everything all in. You can have one collection. You can have 20 of them. Or in this case, really reality is whatever's inaccurate, right? You can have multiple inaccurate items or not. And then as we work your case, we charge $100 a month. And that's if we have to send out multiple rounds to challenge your credit report.
Got it.
But you're in control. That's the beauty. You come and tell us, hey, we're done. Or like I explained, we start and stop the race together. So if it's just enough to get you over the finish line to get you in that house, then we pull the plug and we stop right there.
Cool. That's awesome. And now that I have you on video saying your rate, you can't change it. But
no, we don't. That's the beauty of it. $299. You figure someone has $4,000 in collections that's inaccurately reported, we get that deleted. Just that alone does two things. You came up ahead on the amount, right? If we just want to strictly go with the amount. But more importantly, you got some that's inaccurately reported off your report. Your score goes up. You qualify for better rates. You save more money. And all you had to do was spend $200 something. And it's a drop in the bucket.
So that's exactly it. So I'm going like the very basic, not extreme case scenario. Like, of course, getting $4,000 removed or repair, like fixing major issues is awesome. But like, if you're going from a 710 to a 720 and you're spending, $300 to do that, you're going to likely save thousands every year, or at least hundreds each year on your interest rate, right? If you're buying a house and you go from, a 3.75 interest rate, which is amazing, right? It's a good rate right now, to, if you go from like, let's say a 3.99, right? Because you're at like a 700 flat, and you can get a 720 or a 725, and it'll cost you $300, maybe a couple months with you at 500. You're going to go down to like a 3.75, which will save you, depending on the house that you buy, that could save you like hundreds per month, right? You might be looking at like 1,000.
And when Jeff sells you your house and you need to get utilities, and they pull your credit for utilities, you don't have to add the extra stress to having to put a down payment for your utility service. They look at your credit, perfect. So it's not just the fact that you get in the house, it's all the BS that follows up after it that you can save the money on too, right? Yeah. Save the money just on the stress alone.
So I'm going to go out there and say, I don't think we have a ton of live viewers right now, but this is recorded, and I'm going to make this offer. I didn't talk to you or prepare you for this really, but if people do watch this video and they opt into working with you to improve their credit in order to buy their home, I'm going to actually cover the cost. I'm going to cover the cost for them. So when they buy their home, they will be 100% reimbursed for the cost of repairing their credit with you.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Partnership, man. Let's make it happen. Let's make some good.
And the reality is, we'll help you. We'll help your clients. We'll help everyone along the way. And we'll educate everyone. And we'll make sure that to let you know, that's the beauty of it. All of our consultations are free. We don't charge for our consultations. I want to also make that crystal clear. So during our consultations, you're going to come in, or your clients will come in, and we'll take a look at the report. We'll tell them what's hurting them, what's helping them, and what we can do to help you improve. If there's nothing we can do, it's a wrap. You're done. But you don't pay for that. I mean, that's part of the experience. So at least worst comes to worst, let us at least review your credit. We'll tell you if we can help you, if we can't help you, and what the right steps are from there. And that's it.
Cool. And yeah, if you're watching, you want the warm intro, of course, we have creditconnectors.com on here. We can get you in touch with Tarek, but if you just reach out to me directly, I'll get that warm intro set up, and you'll get connected directly with the owner of the company. So cool. Hey, Tarek, do you have anything else that you want to do?
No, just thank you for your time. It's definitely been a pleasure, and thank you for your kindness. And I just wish you safety and all the viewers safety too during these tough times.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate you for coming in and dropping some knowledge on us today. Thanks, man.
Always. Appreciate you. Have a great one. Bye.
I'm trying to figure out how to stop. Oh.